back to the channel. Today I have a new knife for you guys. It's the SOG fixed blade field knife, and I had a hard time deciding between the field knife and the other knife they had there, which was the Ace, and they both say they're for outdoor use. They both pretty much have the same features, the same steel and all that, and the same kind of sheath, this plastic nylon sheath. So I decided to go with this one for a couple reasons. I mean, it does have the exposed little pommel here, so you can hit stuff with it. It looked a little bit more useful to me, but maybe one day I'll pick up the other one and I'll do a comparison for y'all. But in the meantime, I'm gonna show y'all what this one's all about. Let's see how good or how bad this knife is. Read a couple things here for y'all. So specs wise, blade length is 4.1 inches. It weighs 3.7 ounces. Has a satin finish, has an overall length of 8.5 inches, and this is a fixed blade knife. So what I was talking about, it's a full tang construction, which is what you kind of look for in a outdoors / survival knife, because you want it to be strong, you don't want it to be broken or anything. So this one, even if the rubber handle was damaged in some way, you could wrap the handle with paracord or make a wood handle. I'm going to be using my Mora knife to open it. This is a Mora knife that I kind of made these little designs here with vinegar, I think mustard or something like that. I can show you how to do that in another video. I just made some little tiger stripes on it. But I haven't really used this knife much. I just bought it because they're really cool knives. They're really useful. And yeah. Alright, so there's the knife out of the package. First impressions, it's really light. It's actually pretty light. I'm going to compare it to the Mora I had here earlier. They feel, I mean, the Mora is a little bit lighter because it has less steel, but they feel pretty similar. It's not too much heavier than this Mora, and this is a really small knife. So that just should hopefully give you all a little bit of an idea of how light this thing is. It doesn't mean it feels cheap or anything like that. The handle feels really nice, feels solid, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna be slippery even if it's wet. So that's what I do like about it. I have pretty big hands, and this thing fits just right in my hand, so you shouldn't have any issues unless you have some monstrous hands. It does have the little pommel here. The SOG Ace did not have this, and I don't remember seeing this on the Seal Pup, even though that's a completely different knife class, because it's 20 or $30 more expensive than this one. By the way, the price point on this one was $36. I found this at the PX on base, so I don't know what the prices are out in town, but I'm sure it's somewhere in between the $29 to $35 range. Take off the plastic tip right here, we don't need that. And we're gonna do a couple little tests here. Actually, let's just see how it fits inside the sheath real quick. So it's pretty secure, and as you can see right here, it has the exposed area right here for cutting cordage and stuff. I'm gonna get a piece of paracord in a little bit, and we're gonna try cutting some with it. The belt clip, it's just an open belt clip. You can kind of like the ones that are used for little cell phone cases. It's not my favorite. I might actually buy a Tech Lock clip on here so I can mount it horizontally, because I don't like carrying my knives vertically, mainly because I like to keep them hidden, and this way is a lot easier to conceal on my belt than this way. But make sure before you conceal a knife, you look up the rules in your area and stuff like that. But as far as the retention, I like the retention. Not too hard to get out of here, and also it stays in place, so if you have to run or you have to do some things, you don't have to worry about it falling out. You can also run a lanyard through here. There's a little paracord hole, little lanyard hole, and you can just run a string from here to here maybe, or just kind of wrap it a little bit so you have even more security. But I don't think I'm not really much of a person to run lanyards on knives, but you could do that if you want. Alright, I'm going to try and cut this piece of paracord. Hopefully I didn't cut it too short. I just didn't want to waste a whole bunch of my paracord, but we're going to see how it cuts. So I don't know how I feel about this. This is 550 cord, and it's not like cutting like super smooth or anything like that. There, it did cut it. It was somewhat of a decent cut. It wasn't the cleanest. I'm gonna see how it would be just cutting it without that sheath installed. So it's a little easier to just cut it regularly. Like, I don't really think that's all that useful. At least not without like wasting a bunch of paracord and actually like trying to cut like that. I don't know. I didn't really like it. But it's there. It's a feature. I think it might actually be better for like stripping wire more than cutting cordage or stuff like that. 550 cord just might be a little too rough. Like, it's a little too tough. If you have like cheaper stuff, like just twine, stuff like that, I'm sure it'll cut just fine. Alright, so now we're going to do a couple other tests. The blade digs in pretty nicely. Pretty sharp out of the box. Haven't done anything to this blade, just so y'all know. This is just how sharp it was when I got it. Didn't have any issues taking off some of that bark. And this isn't really meant to be a comparison or anything like that, but I just want y'all to see how the Mora does. Because this is another knife that people recommend for bushcrafting and stuff like that. So the main issue I have with this Mora rope here is when you put your thumb on here to apply pressure, it's a very thin blade, so it hurts your thumb a little bit. And this one has a nice thick blade, has plenty of, it even has this serrated little surface. And when you press on it, the back of the knife with your thumb, you don't have any of that metal digging into your thumb. So I would say it passed that test pretty well. It cuts, does what it's supposed to do. I'm gonna try batoning this piece of wood real quick, see how it does. This wood's pretty green, but I mean, it cut in pretty far down. Let's try this piece real quick. It's a different kind of wood. See if we can get a couple chunks off of this. So far, there's no damage to the knife. Still feels sharp. So one thing I'm noticing is, since the blade isn't very long, you have to kind of choose wisely what you're going to try and baton here. Like, you got to take smaller bites. Kind of digging a little bit into that wood. Everything seems to be the same as when I started. I mean, it may have lost a little bit of its edge, but it still cuts. Cut through the paracord just fine. So I would say this knife is pretty good. Like, for the price, for 35 bucks, $36, it's pretty decent. I like it, I'm happy with it, and it can do the things I need it to do. Like, I don't really see myself ever needing to split like a bunch of wood this way. It's just nice to know it can do it, but I have an axe for that and I have a hatchet for that, so you don't really need it. But it can do what you need it to do. Try a little bit of feathering here. It's still pretty sharp, as you can tell. So I would say it retains its edge well. It has a lot of good features. I like the sheath. It's better than some of those like fabric ones that they give you. I don't know what they call that, like ballistic nylon sheets or whatever. They have like a piece of plastic in them, but they're mainly all cloth. This thing's actually tough. You can thread it to, like, if you want to use it as a boot knife, it's a little big, but you can use it for that. You can like tie it with paracord to like a backpack. You can put this through molly webbing, from what I can see the width of it. Or you can attach a tech lock to it because it has holes for screws. It has 7 holes here. It has a lanyard loop in case you want to tie it to something. The one thing I wish this knife had was holes here and here for attaching it to like a spear, for example. But the rubber on the grip is still good enough that if you tied it around the spear with paracord, it still wouldn't go anywhere. Has plenty of grip. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and see you all in the next video.